Hey guys! So I wanted to share some embarrassing stories with you about my ostomy. I on this page, I generally post really uplifting things, but I wanted to let you guys know and tell you stories like this because I want you to know that it's totally fine to have issues like this, because when they happen, it doesn't feel normal. I mean, for me, I'm surrounded by people with the same issues as me, but I know that for others who aren't, it can be really hard. Um, so I wanted to share two stories with you guys. One was, it was a month and a half after I got my ostomy. So I was having a sleepover with my friend Eileen, and we were in my sunroom because my sister sleeps in my room too, so we weren't gonna occupy the entire room. So we were out there, and I had a JP drain at the time. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's literally just a portable drain. It's a Jackson Pratt drain, and it's just about this big, and that's where the fluid will collect. And I had that, draining an abscess at the top of my gluteus maximus, aka my butt. As most doctors would say, it's your gluteus maximus, but we all know that's the very high wee kind of version. So I had that, and then I also had just gotten a revision of my stoma, so I was having some issues. And so we were sleeping, and I woke up, and the medication I was on kind of put me into a whirlwind in my mind, and I didn't really know what was going on when I'm sleeping. Like, my parents usually would come in and wake me up if my bag was a balloon, or if I needed medication or whatever, they would come in and wake me up. And they obviously didn't do that because Eileen was there. So I woke up and I smelled something, and I was like, what is that smell? So then I'm looking around, and I'm kind of foggy. It's like for any of you who take sleeping pills or any other medication that makes you kind of brain fogged. I was just like, what is that smell? And then I moved the blanket off of me, and I'm laying on my right side, and I realize that I don't have a bag on my wafer, and I turn around, and my bag is behind me. And we're sleeping on a ton of blankets, so luckily the carpet didn't get hurt. But she's sleeping literally like 2 feet away from me. And so I'm on my right side, and I'm like, how can I fix this? Because I think both of my parents were gone at that time, but also, I'm not going to have my dad help me because this means I need to get in the shower. And my mom's at work, and I've never taken a shower without her help with my JP drain and having an issue with my ostomy, so I'm like, alright, well, I'm just going to have to do this by myself. So I grabbed the bag, which is full of poop, by the way. It literally blew off. For those of you who haven't had that happen, just be very careful with the food you eat before you go to bed. I grabbed the bag, and my JP drain is literally just stitched to my skin. There's really nothing holding the drain itself in place, so I had to hold that with my left hand, and I had my bag in my right. Thankfully, the wafer was intact, so that meant I didn't really have to change the whole setup. All I had to do was just clean it off and put it back on. But it was harder than it sounded, because at the time I'm still kind of drugged, and I'm on pain medication, I'm on sleeping medication, I was on nerve medication. I had a lot of stuff going on. So I go in the bathroom, get in the shower, and with my left hand still, I'm holding the drain so that the dressing doesn't get wet, because if the dressing gets wet, that means I have to change it, and I can't see that. So I'm like, okay, that can't get wet. So just my right side is in the shower part, the water part. And so I'm rinsing myself off, put the bag back on, then I go back out to the sunroom. I see she's still asleep, which she later revealed to me she actually wasn't. She just didn't want me to feel embarrassed, so that was really nice. And I went out there. Thankfully, it hadn't gotten on my body pillow, because there's no case on it, and I since then have ruined 2 body pillows with my bag. I mean, obviously I didn't on purpose, but it happened. And it's fine, because it's not like they're cheap, or expensive, I'm sorry. They're like $12 for a new body pillow. Anyway, so I went out there and I got all the blankets that had been assaulted, and I put those in the wash. Still smelled like poop, though. So I opened the windows, and pretty much finished cleaning up, and then I came back and I was like, I mean, for someone who just has surgery, you know, that's a lot. So I'm really, really grateful for her because she didn't make me feel embarrassed. She reassured me that it was fine. And I was really, really grateful in that moment because that was the first real issue at home that I had with my ostomy that was more than just like your typical leak or anything. So I was really grateful. And then recently I was at my boyfriend's house and I was kind of, I don't know what I was doing. I was kind of like gradually falling off the bed. And what had happened was because I was sliding, my bag, instead of going down, it moved to being up, if that makes sense. So when you're standing, your bag is going down your body with gravity. But when I'm sliding off the bed backwards, my bag flipped up and was facing towards me instead. So my right arm got stuck on the bag, pulled it off of my wafer. I wear a 2-piece Hollister, by the way. And it pulled it off the bottom, and my bag was partially full. And so the bag disconnected from the wafer and poop went all over his comforter, all over me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I mean, I know that he doesn't really care. He wants to be a nurse, and he's seen me change it, and he is totally supportive of it. So I knew that he really wasn't going to have a problem with it, but I did, simply for the fact that it's a tough reality sometimes to grasp what it is sometimes, but all I could think in that moment was grab the bag, make sure it doesn't fall off, and run to the bathroom. So I kind of cradled my bag so that no more poop would fall on the floor, and then I ran to the bathroom, got in the shower. It got on my pants and my underwear, so I literally got in the shower, and I had to kind of pull my shirt up, and it was just a mess. So, thankfully, I literally just called out from the bathroom. I said, "Can I borrow some pants?" And he let me borrow his pants. And then I came out of the bathroom, and I just looked at his bed, and I saw the damage on his comforter. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I felt absolutely horrible. And I kind of came in, I was just barely through the doorway, and he was laying on the other side of his bed when this all happened. So he was still over there. And he looks at me like, "What's wrong?" Like, he didn't see a problem with it. And, which was marvelous, but I still was just like, how are you so calm? And I kind of just stood there, and my eyes started to get teared up, and I don't like people see me cry. So I just kind of collapsed on the ground into a puddle of Rachel. And he came over and sat right in front of me, and he looks me in the eye, he goes, "Don't cry. I love you. I want to marry you. This doesn't faze me." And it was the cutest thing, and definitely what I needed in that moment. And I really, really greatly appreciated it, for sure. But the moral of the stories, I should say, don't be embarrassed when something bad happens. Whether you have UC, Crohn's, or an ostomy, don't be embarrassed. It's completely normal for us, and anyone that's involved in your life should understand that. And mine definitely do. For those of you who don't follow my ostomy account on Instagram, which is me and my stoma, it's the same name that I have on here, my best friend watched me change my ostomy. And it was really funny because I took the wafer off, and I do this in the shower. So she was like, "Dude, that's so cool!" And she goes, "Can I touch it?" And I was like, "Sure." So she touches it. She goes, "Oh, I just touched my best friend's small intestine." And it was hilarious because I have never had a reaction like that. All of the people that are involved in my life, like immediate family, have dealt with this. You know, like, it's completely normal for us. Any of these things that have happened to me are completely normal for us. It's just like our normal life. So it was really refreshing to have her say something like that, because I've never had a friend reject me simply for my ostomy, and if that ever did happen, I wouldn't care because I'm so content with the people I have in my life right now, and life is too short to not be okay with who you have in your life. So it's okay if people reject you, because they will. regardless if you have an ostomy, regardless if anything. I mean, people will always find a reason to not be your friend or not be in your life if they want to be. So just let it happen. I mean, I've always been a big fan of that. If people want to be in my life, they'll stay. If not, hold the door open. They'll leave eventually. Hopefully those stories kind of uplifted you guys and made you realize that when you have issues, it's not abnormal, and don't feel crazy, and don't worry about those people leaving you. They're good people, I can promise you that, if they've stayed this long, you know what I mean? If you guys have questions, you can put them down there. If there are a personal question that you don't want to put for public eye, I have my email that is listed in the description box as well. As for anything else, I hope you guys have a great day, and that your UC, your Crohn's, your ostomies, whatever you're dealing with right now, will get better, I promise. Anyways, have a great day, guys. I'll see you in my next video.